Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the KimUnity Solutions Podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the workplace. It is so good to be with you all today. I am your host, Kim the SME. As always, I'm only speaking from my experience. Today, as I am preparing to go out of town, I am really just thinking about growing in the dark. Growing in the dark. Have you ever moved away and then went back to where maybe your childhood home was, and you know you're going to be around people who you haven't seen in a while, and they remember you from when you were little and way back, but you've grown since then, right? Not necessarily that you've been in the dark as in secluded, but you've been away. You have been working in the invisible. You haven't been seen as you're growing, right? And you can even be around someone who is growing and you really don't see it because it's not physical. It's something that is growing within. But people, because they can't recognize that growth on the outside, they just remember you how you were and what you used to do and all the things that you were into. And so that's what I want to really just touch on, and just to remind you all today that just because you see someone regularly or irregularly doesn't mean they are the same person. Doesn't mean that you know them fully. And we really have to be aware of that. Even our closest, even those closest to us. My best friend is several states away. I talk to her regularly, but I know that she is growing. She is not the same person that we were growing up. And I am growing. I am not the same person. And with that growth can lead to misunderstandings. People can see you doing something new or learning that you're doing something new, but they can't fathom it. They can't put their mind around it because that was never you. For example, if you were always an introvert growing up, if you really weren't that social growing up, and now you're saying you are speaking and you're drawing crowds, it's hard for people to put their mind around it because it's like they had never seen you in that realm. They know the old you. And it's not like that person isn't still there. It's just that she or he has been developed. There's been some motion in the darkness. There have been some late nights and early mornings of studying and reading and praying and just trying to figure things out, brainstorming, digging deep into the what ifs and what shall be's. I did a speech last week and I really talked about first impressions. I did a speech and one of the aspects of it was about first impressions. And I used an example of my car and how I bought it off the lot because it was just beautiful. But later down the line, I started having all these issues with it because I didn't really understand what was going on underneath the hood. First impressions can trick you. But just like first impressions, even the impressions that have grown over time, that once were familiar, it's not a first impression. They're familiar. It's the familiarity of it. Did you hear how I said that? I'm working on it. The familiarity of it. We can become too familiar with something. We can think we know someone and know their habits and have it down packed when really that's just the baseline. That's just the baseline, and you could be causing frustration because you do believe you know someone that well when really you don't. And that is frustrating to them because they want you to dig deeper. They want you to ask more questions. They may even be giving you hints as in, hey, do you see I like this now? Let's try this. Let's do something new. But you're too busy fanning it off because it's new to you. Because of your old perception, you can't see the new thing. And I just want everyone to just really open their eyes and experience the new. Experience the new in others. Don't just look at them for what you know, but look at them for what you don't know. Be curious. Stay curious. And do the same for yourself. We can get caught up in the same routine. Yes, we wake up at the same time and we're going to sleep at the same time. Our days are scheduled so that we can be better prepared. But what are you doing in the in-between time to where you can see that growth, where you can find new likes and dislikes? I mean, when's the last time you even did something new? What is it that you do like that you are continuing to do? What have you recently found? We have to rediscover ourselves. In some ways, we need to become kids again, to where we question, to where we learn, we're inquisitive, and we try. It's not a, ooh, I don't do that. And we also have to stop putting so much emphasis on what others think or what they may think of us now. That's irrelevant. That's not important. You are the priority. It's not something that you have to go out and be like, I've changed, I'm new. No, just grow with it. When you're around people, with the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you hold yourself, your conversation, all of that will change. So it's not something that you have to go and introduce people to. I tell people all the time, you don't have to lead with titles or statuses because it will show. Oh, I'm a deacon. You don't have to say that. I should be able to see that by your actions. I should see what standards you are holding yourself up to. And I'm just throwing that out there. It can be a president of club, whatever it is. But you don't have to lead with that. Everyone now wants to look at how people are treating the server. Yeah, that's great, but that's already a known. That's already a known. What's something else that someone is doing outside of the server? Because now it's becoming a performance because the word on the street is, oh, how you treat the janitor is how you treat. It's not the title. You can see that in your day-to-day actions. Growing in the dark. I know I'm not the same person I used to be. I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm not the same person I was several years ago. I'm doing new things. I'm growing. I'm challenging myself. I am messing up along the way. And there's some things that I'm good at. It's like, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I get that? But that just makes you work harder when you're trying to achieve something and you miss that level, you miss that step. That makes you try harder, which means you'll be even more prepared and propelled into your next purpose. You don't have to grow in the light. When you grow in the light, that means everything in the roots have already matured and been fertilized. That's the last step, is when you hit the light, you're out there now. I'm thinking of a plant, right? I have these plants right here, these leaves. This is the end result. This right here is the end result. But there was some working and some moving and some growing and some saturation going down at the roots over time, some fertilizing. That's the dark I'm talking about. That's the dark. And make sure as we're growing in the dark, we're cutting off those dead leaves. Anything that's dead that we no longer want, we have to shed. You have to be that new thing. Now, some of it is a part of you. Some of it is supposed to stay with you and it develops as you develop. But we do have some bad weeds on us occasionally. There are some things that we have to pull away from, we have to tear away. And that is okay. Growing in the dark. I like it because it's just you in the darkness. It's you and God. You're messing up. You're having conversations. There's some erasing. There's some stretching out. I just see it as that scratch paper and all of the markings and all of the ideas and all of the steps and where we see ourselves and the books that we're reading and the articles, the people we're speaking to, the conversations we're having in the dark, the mentors that we are seeking out and getting assistance from. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I would love to know what you're doing in the dark. What, and it doesn't have to be details, but just say yes. Growing in the dark. Just put, I'm growing in the dark, because we don't have to know what you're doing. Let it take root. Right? Yes, I am growing in the dark. I know I'm not the only one. I see it all around me, and it may not be the same type of growth that I'm experiencing. You may be growing in different areas than I'm growing, but it is all for a greater good. What are you doing? What resources are you using? Who are you reaching out to? Are they verified, validated? I wish you all much success on your journey. I believe it's going to be a beautiful year, a very productive year. I believe right now a lot of things are happening, and everything that's out right now, that's in the public and all of that, it has the attention, but it is not as strong as what's in the deep. And the deep will reveal itself soon. I believe that. I believe that. That's why it's so important not to just trust your eyes. There's an inner knowing that we have to have. There's an inner feeling. There's an inner word. It may look chaotic on the outside. It may look like a disarray. It may look like, someone is coloring on that coloring page and just scribbling all over it with different colors and different patterns. And, you know, you can tell the difference when something is being colored lightly. I don't know what's called, I'm not an artist, but they're kind of like shading it in. And someone else who's really digging in with a crayon, almost as if they're trying to break. If you look with your fleshly eyes, that's what you see. It's a whole lot of disruption and chaos. If you go beneath that, I see people coming together. I see new ideas. I see innovation. So when I mentioned earlier staying curious, that's what curiosity brings. It brings creativity. It brings innovation. I mean, it's just like this podcast. I've been doing this for over a year now. And I know that there are other podcasts who have, came out and are doing, major numbers and all of that. And I'm happy for them. I know that when it's my time, it will be my time. When the world is ready for my message, then that is when I will see external ones. But right now, I am growing within, and I am thankful for it all. I truly am, and I hope you are too. Appreciate where you are. Appreciate the milestones you've reached. Appreciate all the trials that you have overcame and the ones that you had to go through in order to get to where you are now. Continue to grow in the dark, because pretty soon that light will shine upon you. I am your host, Kim the SME. As always, I am only speaking from my experiences. You all be blessed. Until next time, you've been listening to the KimUnity Solutions Podcast. Keep growing, y'all. Bye-bye.